Okay, let's keep going where we left off, starting with an example. And this is part 2, so if you missed part 1, go look at my post from the day before. For this example, we'll use the ILS localizer plate for runway 11. When briefing this approach, there's something that you should notice in the pilot briefing strip. Inop table does not apply to straight in ILS 11, all categories. Do you remember this sentence that I pointed out on the Inoperative Components table? Well, this is one of those cases, and the approach chart is saying that you do not need to add any more visibility to the minimums if that approach lighting system is inoperative. However, we're just going to act like that it doesn't say that on the top of the approach plate and just practice with this one. So let's start this example with figuring out what kind of lighting we have. The MALSEF is medium intensity approach lighting with sequenced flashing. And you can figure this stuff out by going to page 17 of your TPP. Here we can see everything that we need to understand the kind of lighting, from the name of the lighting to a little description of what it will look like, that this little A4 verifies what type of lighting it is, as well as because it's black that it is pilot controlled lighting. Now, if we did in fact need to adjust the required visibility for this approach in the case that the ALS or approach lighting system was malfunctioning, then we would use the first table on the Inoperative Components page. And that's because it's an ILS approach that's using an approach lighting system that is not an ODL, and the required minimums do not include RVR 1800, 2000, or 2200. And all you have to do is add a quarter of a mile of visibility onto the visibility that's already on the approach plate. And the required visibility on this approach plate is 4,000 feet RVR for that ILS straight in. So how do you add a quarter of a mile to that? All you have to do to figure this out is go back to your instrument bestie, the TPP, onto page 5, and look at the comparable values of RVR and visibility. Here you can see that 4,000 feet equals 3/4 of a mile. So just add a quarter of a mile to 3/4 of a mile, and now you need 1 mile of visibility for this approach. 1 statute mile to be more specific. Now what if you wanted to do the localizer approach, but the ALS was inoperative? Notice how the visibility requirements are the same as the ILS, 4,000 RVR. And to figure out how much visibility to add to this RVR, we will be using the third table, as the first 2 are not applicable to the localizer, neither is the 4th, and the 5th one doesn't work because it's for ODLs only, and this has a MALSEF. And look at that, it also wants you to add a quarter of a mile visibility onto the approach minimums. Luckily for us, we already know what 4,000 RVR plus a quarter statute mile is, and that's 1 statute mile visibility. This was such a great topic brought up to me by one of my followers, so if there's anything you want to learn, just let me know. Also, I just wanted to let you guys know that the actual way to say minimums is minima according to the FAA, but that sounds weird, so I say minimums.